Hello, would you like to be a crazy trainer? Why on earth would you say? Well, it's your choice. I'm a trainer, I believe I'm a good trainer. My grandkids, when I'm messing about, they'll often say, "Grandad, you're crazy." And my response is always, I'd rather be crazy than normal. What about you? One thing I do know is, whatever word you describe to be different, you definitely do want to be different. You definitely don't want this. You don't want death by PowerPoint. There is so much more you can do. I'm Syd Strike, join me. Hang around for 10 minutes, there are lots of tips and ideas I'm going to give you to be a great trainer. I call it a crazy trainer. Stick with me. At the end of my courses, I very often receive feedback like this. It was engaging, it was fun, it was inspirational, it wasn't boring, which suggests that a lot of courses are boring. And then for some they will say, it gave me confidence, I feel better for it. Not only that, their managers come to me so often and say, you know what, Syd, I can see the improved confidence in that person. They feel more confident, they're behaving more confidently, and you can see the skills that they've learned in practice. And that's something else, again, that my attendees, my delegates say to me, this is practical, the course was relevant, training has to be relevant as well. But different, crazy, why not? That's what I want to share with you, a little bit about being a crazy trainer. Make a great first impression. Don't just welcome people onto your course, surprise them. Give them a wow they'll always remember. Have some music playing as they walk through the door. Welcome them with sweets and colour and other props that are intriguing and relating to your course and to the training and things that they do at work. Give them a warm welcome. I prefer the handshake, but whatever you do, every person that walks through your door, you welcome them personally. Make a great first impression. And then what about the introductions? You know what it's like, all those boring introductions. There's some kind of myth that we must start with introduction and objectives. Disagree. I don't start with that. Obviously they need to know who I am, but I'm doing that as they come in anyway. So they've hardly got that down on my training courses, usually before I'm getting them to stand up. I like movement. I get them to stand up early as I can. Let's do my icebreaker, something different before we do introductions and objectives. Who said we have to tell people what the objectives are before we start? Who said we even have to tell them what the objectives are? Obviously it's very useful to know, but any time during the training course we can weave that in when it's appropriate. What matters now, they've come into my room, I want them to enjoy my course, I want it to feel different for them, I want them to have a little element of fun in it, I want them to feel intrigued. I get them standing up, stand up everybody, do something different. Not these introductions where everybody has to go around and introduce themselves. Or these introductions where everybody, one person interviews the person next to them and then says, this is Syd, he's this, this and this. I don't like that. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's just so much more better. One of the things that I like to do is I call it speed introductions, a bit like speed dating. I let people move around in one-to-ones, share in a very natural way who they are with each other, who you are, what you do, what you expect to learn, whatever, just a few questions, and then move around from one person to the other. Do you know what? What's really interesting is what often happens, they stay longer than the 2 minutes I allocate them each. And I have to move them on after a while, but that's good because they're getting to know each other. It's worth, in my opinion, putting a little bit of extra time at the beginning of a course to do that. What if they already know each other? You can do exactly the same thing, but with another question. What's your opinion on whatever the subject is that we're learning? So many ways that we can do it. So for me, on their feet before we start. Here's another thought, depending on the geography of the building and the weather outside, why not, I've done this before, actually have a walk outside and do introductions in the warmth, on the grass or something like that. So make a great first impression. Get people on their feet as quickly as you can. Take them outdoors if you can.
and engage them in activities that are fun and inspirational and perhaps a little crazy. And be aware, bullet points are boring.
Do we really have to have lots and lots of bullet points? Bullet points are boring. Now, there is a place for a few bullet points. It does help the pragmatists, they enjoy them. I like them myself if I'm going on a seminar. I like some bullet points, but I don't want a whole seminar filled with PowerPoint and bullet points. Some people like groups. Groups are great, facilitation, group discussion. I like training that is very much at the learner end of the spectrum, where they're doing things themselves, working in groups. I create activities and games that relate to work. So they've got a plan, they've got to build, all that kind of thing. What about role play? People don't like role play. Most people don't, you're right. But somehow they've got to practice the practical skills. Easy if it is practical in the job, like using a machine or using some kind of instruments that they have to use, telephones, those kind of things. But sometimes when it comes to the softer skills, people are embarrassed, they don't want to. I use something I call trigger situations. Ask me about it sometimes. But I use role play in small groups where I create triggers that they've got to discuss and then come back and talk about. Sometimes it is role play. I sometimes ask for budding actors to do a bit of role play, only those who volunteer. What about the use of cameras and video? All of that, making it different, where it fits, where it's appropriate, where people feel comfortable. I also love the self-learning approach, where they're given projects and they've got to look after it for themselves and they've got to search and research, all of those kind of things. Sometimes even to go away into different rooms or back to their office and go on the web, come back what they've found, sometimes come back and present what they've found. There are so many different ways you can be different, always relating to your groups. Now, moving forward, if I can help you, do get in touch. Give me a call, drop me an email. I'm always happy to have a chat with you. If you want to do anything further with me moving forward, absolutely willing to talk business as well. But I'm always happy to have a chat with any fellow trainer. That's what it's all about. If you're interested in remote training and you want some tips and ideas for remote training, contact me, I can help you with that as well. Get in touch with us. Let me help you become a crazy trainer. Or if you don't want to be too crazy, certainly, definitely different, and one that gets results, one that's remembered. Let me help you. I'm Syd Strike. Do get in touch.